gonna make some baked beans today. I've been making them for about 45 years, and every holiday or picnic in the backyard, birthday, everybody's always asking for the famous Bonnie's baked beans. So today I'm gonna show you how easy it is. To begin with, there's different pots you can use, or you can just use a regular dish. These are specifically made for baked beans, but unless I'm making a lot of baked beans, because this will really hold a lot. It doesn't look like it, but it does. So today I'm going to choose this particular one. It's just an oven-proof crockery dish that I like to use to make baked beans or macaroni and cheese or whatever. So I'm going to use that today. This doesn't call for a lot of ingredients. It starts out first with baked beans. Today I'm going to use some Bush's baked beans, but you can use any type of pork and beans. Sometimes I mix them up with different kinds, so it really doesn't matter. So I'm going to start with that first. It also includes a few slices of bacon that I'm going to crumble in it, and I choose to use the lower sodium bacon. You don't have to. For years I just used regular bacon, but to keep our sodium down, I'm going to use the lower sodium, and I really don't think that it tastes much different. Also a little bit of ketchup, yellow mustard, light brown sugar. You can use dark brown sugar, but it gives it a stronger molasses flavor. I like the light brown sugar, so that's what I use. We're also going to use a yellow onion, and I have some ground ginger. This comes from the Asian market here where I live, but you can get it also in the little cans or like this and come. I'm going to use a pinch of dry mustard. I also use that in it, and those are the only ingredients that we need to start our baked beans. So first I'm going to start out by taking about 3 slices of baked beans, or bacon. And what I'm going to do, only to make it cook faster, I'm going to cut it into smaller pieces. It only makes it cook a little faster, and it's easier in the pan. And I'm going to just get that started, because we're going to crumble that up in our baked beans. It gives it extra flavor, and we're even going to use a little bit of the grease that comes off of the bacon while it's cooking. It just gives it extra flavor. So that's how we'll start out. We'll get that started. Everybody's always glad when they see me carry in the baked beans for any type of holiday. Put any oil in the pan, because the bacon's going to start rendering off some grease right away. So we're just going to turn this. This doesn't have to be real high because you'll burn it. So I'm just going to turn it down like on a medium heat to get the bacon started. Okay, let's go back. While the bacon's cooking, we can go ahead and open up our beans. And like I said, I'm using Bush's today, but I use any type of pork and beans. That's all I use. And I normally don't get any that are maple flavored or anything like that. I just get the plain. These are original. Now I'm going to drain off the juice, because if you don't, you're going to have too much juice. So I just keep the lid on so the beans don't come falling out, and drain off the juice. Put that in our dish. Go into the next can. I've been doing this for so many years. And it's always a big hit. If you have to take anything to a potluck, church potluck, your neighborhood picnic, anything. And they're very good the next day. You can make these a day ahead. A lot of times for Christmas, I'd have it all mixed up and put it in the refrigerator, and then just get up in the morning and stick it in the oven. Use one more. It's pretty easy to do once you get it started. Drain off the juice of the last can. Otherwise it makes them too soupy. You don't want them to be too soupy. You don't want to have the beans all the way to the top, because when you're cooking it could boil over and get all over your stove. And by the time you start adding your ingredients, you can't have too much in there. So you got that started. And I'm going to go over here and just stir our bacon a little. See the bacon's starting to fry up. You want it kind of crisp. That's what we're going for. So we're just going to let it crisp up a little bit there. Not quite there. Okay. I'm going to turn that down just a little bit, because it's a smaller pan and we don't have that much in there. It doesn't have to be on that high of a flame. Okay, we've got our beans all in the pot here. Now we're going to start by adding our ketchup. And I'd say I add in probably about a half a cup, 3/4 of a cup of ketchup to start. You can always add more, but you can't take it out. Then I'm going to give it a squirt of mustard. I'm not going to put too much mustard in, because then I'm also going to use the ginger and the dry mustard. Now on the dry mustard, I generally just take a pinch of it. So I'm going to take, because dry mustard is much stronger than your yellow mustard that you get in the bottle at the grocery store. So I'm going to add a little bit, probably about 1/8 of a teaspoon of dry mustard. And for my ginger, that I just use a pinch. That can be strong, so you don't want to add too much. So I'm just going to add probably about that much. I'm going to just put that in there. It doesn't take much. I'm going to stir that around and see if I need to add any more ketchup. And I can see I'm going to need more ketchup. So I'm going to add a little more in right now, probably about another half a cup. And I'm going to add some brown sugar to that. I'm just going to give my bacon a quick stir. Now our brown sugar, we're going to add probably about a half a cup. Like I said, you can always add more later. Okay, we'll start with that. And I think our bacon is just about done. I'm just putting it on the paper towel so it'll be easier to cool, so I'm not burning my hands when I break it up. Okay, I go over to mixing the beans up, and it's going to need a little bit more brown sugar, so I'm probably going to add maybe another half a cup. That's what gives it that kind of molasses flavor, but not overpowering. I'm going to grab my bacon grease, and I'm going to add just about a couple tablespoons of bacon grease. That's just going to give it some extra flavor. I do have my oven set at 375 to preheat, so it'll be hot when I put the baked beans in. It does take them about an hour, hour and a half to cook. Now, when I get these all mixed, I don't taste them, but I go by smell. You want to make sure that any of the ingredients aren't overpowering. You don't want a brown sugar smell to be too sweet. You don't want too much ketchup or too much mustard. It should be just a smooth smell, which is what I have here. It's just about right here. I'm going to add just a little more brown sugar, but it's not going to be real distinct when you smell it, because that smell comes as it cooks. And the brown sugar is what gives it the barbecue flavor. Okay, now we're going to grab the bacon. I'm just going to kind of break that up into pieces. And of course, everybody wants to try their bacon. Nobody can cook bacon without tasting it. And we're going to put that down on our beans and mix that all in. Smells pretty darn good. Now for our last thing we're going to add is our onion. And I like to make the onion into like a flower. So I'm going to cut off the top and the bottom. And if you're going to make a baked beans for a larger crowd, you can just get, if you want, they've got large cans that are about like that. And you can take that and just put a couple of those. This bean pot will probably hold a couple of those big cans. So that feeds quite a few people. And I usually make my onion into like a flour so that all of the onion, the flavor can come out into the beans. So what I do is I take the onion, the side that has the most core on it, I put that on the bottom while I'm cutting it. And I start by just cutting it in the center, both directions, and doing it down about 3/4 way. Just to where it kind of like a bloomin' onion. That's what it's gonna look like. And that's the last thing to go into our baked beans. And you're gonna put it in the middle. And you're gonna put it down inside the baked beans. It's gonna cover up. So you've got your bacon grease in there, your bacon, you've got your onion, which is gonna give it the flavor, the brown sugar to give it the barbecue taste. And that is pretty well set. If you want, you can spray the inside of your baked bean pan so that it's easier to clean up afterwards, after it's cooked. But that's it. And we're gonna pop it in the oven. We'll be back in about an hour. Take a look and see how they're doing. In the oven, I've got it set at 375. That's for about an hour. And when I put it in, I don't put the lid on it. You don't need to put the lid on it. After your beans are done and you bring them out, you can hold them for a couple of hours even to keep them warm by just putting your lid on it, setting it on the back of your stove. So right now, I've got it about at the middle rack in my oven. And I'm gonna put them right in the middle of the oven. Now if you fill it too full, that is when you'd want to put a piece of foil or something on that underneath them just so that it doesn't boil over in your stove. But we kept it far enough from the top we didn't have to worry about that. Okay, we'll be back in a while. Okay, it smells like they're done. I can smell it through the whole house. So I'm going to take a look. It's been just a little bit over an hour. So let's take a look. And they're all bubbly on top. You can take a look. That's how you know they're done. So I'm going to pull them out. Okay. You want to put them on something heat-proof. And those are all set to go. You're going to taste them, you're going to want to make sure that you let them cool a little bit because they're really hot. That's why if you want them for a holiday and you start early, all you got to do is cap them up. That'll keep them hot for a couple of hours. So that's all you have to do. And today I've got some barbecue ribs and some buttered noodles. And I'm just going to take some. You can see they're not dried out at all. It'll thicken up a little bit as they cool. And I'll put those right on the plate. And you're all set to go for any holiday, birthday, Sunday dinner. You're going to be all set to go. Give it a try and I'll see you in a while with a dessert next time. Thanks. Okay, I'm going to give them a try. They're hot. Let them cool a little bit. These are also good if you want to eat them cold. So you can have them later on that night with a sandwich, or on Thanksgiving have a turkey sandwich with some baked beans at night, or even the next day. They're good the next day. Have them for a barbecue with hamburgers and hot dogs, nothing better. Real good. Give them a try.